Hey, do you remember Maxine Waters, her famous Peach 45? Of course, what she meant to say is impeach 45. 45, of course, being former President Trump. And of course, the Democrats tried. They tried not once, but twice. They peached 45. Now, the impeachment didn't really work because it was stalled and it didn't go forward in the Senate. They didn't have the votes in the Senate for either of the two impeachments. But now there's a very interesting idea that has been floated to and by Kevin McCarthy, the idea of undoing the Trump impeachments, basically getting rid of them, taking them off the record. In other words, unpeach 45. And I think it's a great idea, and it's out of the box, and it's a wild idea. And apparently the author of the idea is Markwayne Mullin of Oklahoma. He brought a resolution to expunge the 2021 impeachment. By the way, the 2021 impeachment was the so-called January 6th impeachment. The Democrats tried to make the case that somehow Trump incited January 6th. They never could make that case. In fact, they then set up the January 6th committee. It's been labored for about a year, well, more than a year, to try to make this case. They haven't been able to make it either. So this is a bogus impeachment, laughable. In fact, the only guy who said was egging people to go into the Capitol was Ray Epps, a guy who has never been indicted. In fact, a guy that is defended by people like Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger. By the way, the Trump earlier impeachment, which was the 2019 impeachment, was based upon a fake dossier that Trump colluded with Russia. And it was based upon a phone call in which Trump says a perfect phone call, but a phone call in which the only issue that was raised turned out to be a completely legitimate issue, which is the Biden family was collecting $50,000, well, actually $80,000 per month. And Hunter Biden's partner was getting another $80,000 from the Ukrainian oil company called Burisma. So recently, Kevin McCarthy was asked, hey, would you consider undoing the Trump impeachments? And perhaps to some people's surprise, McCarthy goes, yeah, I'll take a look at that. I'll consider it. He didn't commit to doing it. Let me quote McCarthy. He goes, I would understand why members would want to bring that forward. He goes, and we'd take a look at it. In other words, this is well, I don't know if I want to call him a new Kevin McCarthy. He is the same Kevin McCarthy, but he's certainly invigorated. And ironically, and this is really to his credit, because, some people, I've seen on social media some people going, well, I was very critical of McCarthy and I'm wrong on McCarthy. I have to admit it. I don't think we were wrong on McCarthy. In fact, I think what happened here is that the holdouts, the Gang of 20, as I sometimes call them, affectionately, by the way, the Gang of 20 has made McCarthy a different person. But McCarthy does deserve credit for the way he has reacted, because McCarthy could have gone the other way. Oh, yeah, I was forced to agree to these conditions, but I'll be sullen, I'll be reluctant. I'm going to look at this Gang of 20 as bad guys and try to undermine them in other ways. No, it looks like McCarthy has approached it like, hey, listen, I need a unified House GOP. I've brought in these guys who were on the outside and were not happy. It looks like we now have a unified team. And as part of a unified team, I have to pay attention to their agenda also. I've got to carry out what I agreed to. And so rather than do it grumpily and unwillingly, let me do it enthusiastically. Let me sort of become the leader that they always wanted me to be. And so McCarthy has been, well, in some ways a changed man. We haven't seen this Kevin McCarthy in quite a while. And the only question is, can he keep it up? So when I've outlined a few things of McCarthy, can and should do, things about investigations, things about moving certain types of legislation forward, not legislation that's going to pass because it's not going to pass the Senate. Biden's not going to sign it, but it's legislation that is aimed at setting this kind of a platform for 2024, and also things that that bring facts to light. Now, McCarthy is out the gate beautifully, and the question is, will he sustain this momentum? And if he does, he'll be doing not only the GOP House, but the Republican Party generally and the country a big favor as we move slowly toward the presidential election.